overlook this basketball. Put a donut right to my window. Hello, and welcome to Fantasy Friday. I'm Jacob Upham.
And I'm Jeff Smith. Here are today's top stories. Terry Francona, best known as the guy at Dunkin' Donuts who squirts too much syrup in your pumpkin coffee, was released by the chain restaurant earlier this week because their incredibly greasy breakfast sandwiches and diabetes-inducing culottes are making Americans fat.
The Texas Rangers defeated the Tampa Bay Rays 3-1 to advance to their second straight ALCS, and now Tampa Bay residents can focus on their other favorite pastime, dying.
The squirrel that has made several appearances at the Cardinals' Busch Stadium this week said in a press conference last night that he was told by his friends to find center fielder John Jay's nut stash, but upon reconsideration, thinks they were just teasing him.
David Freese hit a home run and 4 RBIs on Wednesday night, giving St. Louis the win and tying their NLDS with the Phillies at 2 games apiece. Afterwards, Freese said, "What'd you expect from a cool customer? Got ice water in my veins. The Phillies need to chill. Winter is coming. Hey, where you guys going?" Alright, fine, I'll stop.
As part of our coverage of the American League Series, we spoke with Tampa Bay reliever Kyle Farnsworth on the night he and his team were eliminated by the Texas Rangers.
Greetings, Earth Nuts.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Farnsworth. Sorry about the loss today. It must be tough after getting so much momentum in that last series against the Yankees.
Whatever. I struck 3 of those turds out in a New York minute. The Farns was ready to go this series, and old Joe Blow Madden couldn't find it in his brain to get some real veteran presence in and mow down those Texas Wranglers of Anaheim like a boss. And now the wonderful folks over at Fox Sports don't get to ogle at these critical glutes.
So, Mr. Farnsworth, how do you see the rest of the American League Series shaking out?
Well, Jeff, that's a great question. And really, I prefer to focus on the old El Pasto, just so I can rub it right into Jonathan Papsmear's greasy Irish mug. That kid is an absolute boner.
Fair enough, but we've got you on satellite, so I'd really like...
Okay, enough. Quiet down, he speaks. Let me tell you something about Justin Verlander. Number 1, I respect him. Number 2, he's a good-looking guy. His head looks normal when he takes his hat off. Number 3, if they win the World Series, I will put my nutsack on his eyeballs when he's asleep. And as for the Yorktown Abbeys of Gayrod, they can suck on my bountiful teats till I'm drier than one of Nick Swisher's used syringes. The only time I got to express myself in New York was when I was shooting diabolical farts into Joe Torre's open containers of Metamucil. So who cares? I'll be playing that new Rage game out now from ID Software until my Mentos-induced sugar rush wears off. Tell your roommate Carl that no one disrespects the Farns on NHL 012 like that. Nobody.
Will do. Thank you, Mr. Farnsworth. It's been a real pleasure.
Okay, I'll see you douches next year.
And now, for a look at the National League, we throw it to our very own Dr. Baseball.
Hello, I'm Dr. Baseball. Let's take a look at where each team stands as we head into today's Games 5. The Brewers center fielder Nyjer Morgan seems to be suffering from delusions of grandeur and split personalities as he's taken to calling his alter ego Tony Plush. Schizophrenia aside, it shouldn't be enough to keep the Brewers out of the NLCS. Diagnosis? Totally lame, but ultimately harmless. Arizona's Justin Upton is a superstar in the making, combining incredible strength and blazing speed. It might not be enough to topple the Brewers, but keep your eye on this superstar in the making. Diagnosis? Pimp. Cardinals slugger Albert Pujols continues to be superhuman. Even more confounding is that no amount of Ryan Theriot on his team seems to be enough to bring him down. Diagnosis? Terrifying. Phillies ace Roy Halladay needs to have the eye of the tiger today, because according to my father, every other player on this team is garbage. The Phillies hope he can show a lot of heart out on the mound, because if he doesn't, I might have to kill myself. Diagnosis? Please win today.
Well, that's all for this week's edition of Fantasy Friday. For Kyle Farnsworth, Jacob Upham, and Dr. Baseball, have a great weekend.